Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. It is Friday. We have made it. But guess what started today? The trial in regards to the death of Laken Riley. And the way things are going, it ought to be done by about Tuesday. The Karen retrial will not begin as scheduled. This is why the people hate the government when they do stupid stuff like this to a mother. And we do find out in Texas, apparently it's illegal to put a child in a dryer. A woman has been indicted for murder for killing her alleged kidnapper. Another teacher has been arrested. I wonder for what. And we have this day in legal history and our dumb criminal of the day. Let's talk about it.
All right, lawyer.
Good day, everyone. My name is Scott Reich, and this is Crime Talk. Thanks for joining us. You know the drill. Subscribe if you haven't, like if you do, leave me a comment below, hit that little bell for notifications, and remember, you can check us out on any of your favorite podcasting apps. Now, go to crimetalksearch.com. You can sign up for a background subscription service today. As you see, we did this background search on, the sheriff that killed the judge, Sean Mickey Steins. That's what you can do when you have this service. You can do a background search on anyone here in the United States, and you're going to get a report that's going to be emailed to you, and it's going to give you a table of contents, a summary, contact information, address history, relatives, neighbors, associates, jobs, education, usernames as it relates to social media, possible social media contacts, photos, assets that are owned, criminal history, as far down as traffic violations, ladies and gentlemen. Are there any bankruptcies, judgments, or liens? Is somebody married or divorced? Those are the things you're going to be able to find out when you go to crimetalksearch.com. Sign up for that background subscription service. Remember, you can cancel any time that you desire, but you won't want to because there's always going to be somebody that you're curious about, that you'd like to know a little more information about. That's what crimetalksearch.com is for. All right, let's go ahead and open the record for Friday, November 15th, 2024. First, the Laken Riley trial, the chilling 911 call that captured the Georgia nursing student. Laken Riley's horrifying final moments was played in court today, leaving her mother in tears during the first day of the opening statements. Now, Laken Riley triggered the emergency function on her cell phone and called 911 while running on the University of Georgia campus around 9:11 in the morning on February 22nd of this year. Well, the prosecutors told the courtroom only a male voice was heard on the brief muffled audio that was played in court, and those in the courtroom listened to the operator repeating herself, saying, "Clark County 911, hello, Clark County 911, can anyone hear me?" The call was ended at 9:12, and the operator tried to call back but received no answer. Now, Riley's mother, Allison Phillips, was sobbing during the 911 call. The suspect, however, Jose Ibarra, sat stone-faced as the call was played in court. Now, in opening statements, the prosecutors detailed how Riley fought for her life for a staggering 18 minutes. Now, the state alleges that Ibarra was hunting for females on the day that he came across Laken Riley. Now, when Laken Riley refused to be raped, he bashed her head in with a rock, is what the prosecutors say happened. The prosecutor stated, quote, "The evidence will show that Laken fought. She fought for her life and dignity, and in that fight, she caused this defendant to leave forensic evidence behind. She also marked her killer for the entire world to see." One of Riley's friends alerted police that she failed to return home from her run later that morning, and the nursing student's body was found in a wooded area near the running trail shortly after noon. Now, the coroner's office said initially that there was definitely evidence of foul play at the scene and that Miss Riley had been killed violently. But this trial is going to go super fast. Mr. Ibarra waived his right to a jury trial. It's a trial to the court, so you don't have to worry about all the formalities of a jury. I'm telling you, this thing ought to take about 3 days. I think we'll be done by Tuesday or Wednesday, and I would anticipate a guilty on all counts. We'll give him the presumption of innocence because that's what he's entitled to. but it's not looking good so far. Next, the Karen Reed trial is not going to start as scheduled. That's right. Karen Reed appeared in court yesterday for a hearing on several motions, including a request to continue her retrial for the death of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe. Prosecutors and Reed's defense attorneys appeared before the court to request a continuance until April of 2025, saying that they need more time to prepare for the trial. In particular, the special prosecutor, Hank Brennan, said that the Commonwealth needed more time for their newly appointed expert witness to retest components from the so-called black box in Miss Karen Reed's SUV. The judge granted the Commonwealth's request to have an independent expert reassemble the Lexus telematics system, which includes GPS speed readings and other vehicle data. And the prosecutor said the retesting was needed because data was missing from the first round of analysis that the defense expert conducted for the first trial. Now, Reed's defense did not object to the testing, but her lawyers wanted their own expert present for the analysis, and the judge granted that request as well. The prosecutor also said he is in the process of reviewing and re-indexing all the evidence, including witness statements, with the goal of substantially trimming down the witness list opposed to the first trial. The prosecutor, who was appointed in this case in September, noted that although he is new to the case, he was not looking for a personal accommodation with the delay. He said he truly believes that the next trial will be more efficient. Now, Reed's lawyers said that the defense would also need more time for their expert to review the results of the retesting and potential new discovery. The defense has also requested access to emails and personal phone records of the elected district attorney who oversaw the case first time through. You've heard that there will be new Commonwealth experts. There are no reports yet. There's been no disclosure, no forensic testing has taken place, the defense told the judge, but the judge granted Ms. Reed's request for access to the transcripts of all these sidebars and private conversations among the attorneys from the first trial. She has yet to rule on her request to postpone the trial. Now, Reed is due in court again on November 26 for a hearing on the Commonwealth's request for phone records from various people, including those belonging to Reed's father, William. Another hearing was set for December 12th concerning the admissibility of proposed defense expert witnesses on dog bites, and the prosecutor said he intends to challenge the scientific validity of the opinion of Dr. Mari Russell, who testified at the first trial that the marks on O'Keefe's arm were consistent with that of a dog attack rather than being hit with a car. This trial's never going to go, ladies and gentlemen. My guess is everybody's going to do their experts, and at some point they're going to have a plea deal. Now, I could be wrong. I just think that's where it's headed. I think we have a much more competent prosecutor this time, and the defense, obviously, they gave it all they had the first time, and now they're looking for new information to kind of come up with a new defense, because right now the prosecution gets to fix any errors of their ways the first time through and challenge any advances that the defense made in that first trial. Like I said, we'll see. I think there's going to be a plea bargain, but, kind of me hopes we're wrong. So we have lots of stories to continue to talk about as it relates to the Karen Reed trial. Next, this is why people hate the government overreach. So a Georgia mom was arrested after her 10-year-old son walked less than a mile away from their home by himself. That's right. So this woman, Brittany Patterson, says that she plans to fight the charges of reckless conduct, which could land her up to jail for at least 1 year if she's ultimately convicted. So what does she allegedly do? Well, it's alleged that on October 30th, while Miss Patterson had taken another one of her kids to a doctor's appointment, her son left the family home in Mineral Bluff, Georgia, and went into town, according to police. Now, Patterson was notified when the sheriff office called her to tell her that where her son was. It's not super dangerous or even dangerous at all, apparently, on this stretch of the road, according to Mom. She wasn't terrified. She wasn't scared for her safety. And then the deputy drove the son home and apologized for, what appeared to be maybe some miscommunications with the mother, and thought that was kind of the end of the situation. But no, the officers later returned and she was put into handcuffs. Right? That's right. She was arrested in front of her son, taken to jail, where she had to obviously be booked in, put in a jumpsuit and what have you. And the records indicate that she was, in fact, arrested on October 30th and had to post a bond of $500. Now, the police and the courts are now urging her to sign a safety plan, which would require her to make sure her children are under constant watchful supervision. She says she refuses to sign the form. She says this is not right. I did nothing wrong, and she's going to fight it. Now, a GoFundMe page has been set up for Ms. Patterson that's already raised $40,000. And as her attorney noted, really, are we going to have to put GPS on everybody's children? The parents should be the ones to decide for the children what is reasonable and unreasonable and dangerous or not dangerous. And I agree. 10 years old, kids can stay at home. 10 years old, I was riding my bike around town. I know it's a different world, but are you kidding me? This is like, we want to spend the resources on this. This is what this sheriff's office and district attorney's office in Georgia want to spend their resources on. It's kind of like, killing Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon. You got nothing better to do than this? But see, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens. Heck, maybe the dad, maybe the town, like I said, remember all those unique, novel legal theories about parental responsibility? This is what happens. You let government overreach get there, it never ends. They just keep getting more and more intrusive. Next, apparently is a crime to put a kid in a dryer. Let me explain. So on November 11th of this year, deputies and with the Constable Mark Herman's office in Texas responded in reference to a 6-year-old child being locked inside a clothing dryer. Now, when the deputies arrived, they located the child somewhat visibly shaken and crying, and the deputies attempted to detain the suspect, but a male suspect evaded on foot. And when the deputies attempted to pursue the evading suspect, a female stepped in front of a deputy and pushed him to block the pursuit. Now, the female was detained and identified as Life Ford. The other male suspect was detained on scene and identified as Haven Duncan, who was found to be in possession of a loaded firearm. Now, a police perimeter was ultimately set up for the evading suspect, and he was later found and identified as Jacuri Gill. Now, during the course of the investigation, it was determined that the child was in the care of the 3 adults and that the child became upset after losing a bag of chips. As punishment, Haven Duncan placed the child in the dryer and secured the door, preventing him from exiting the dryer. The other 2 adults, Life Ford and Jacqui Gill, refused to let the child out of the dryer until he located the lost chips, which lasted approximately 5 minutes before a bystander called the police. Now, the child was evaluated by EMS and released to a responsible guardian. Needless to say, Child Protective Services was contacted and advised of the case. All 3 suspects were arrested and booked into jail on the child endangerment charges. Bond was set at $10,000, and they have upcoming court dates. Losing a bag of chips, ladies and gentlemen. What are people thinking? I get it, you got to teach responsibility to kids, but locking them in a dryer, I'm not sure that's a good thing. Now, it's a little unclear whether the dryer was turned on or just locked in there, but needless to say, probably freaked the kid out. I doubt he'll go into small, confined spaces again in his life. Next, a woman's been charged with murder in regards to the man that the woman said kidnapped her. Well, apparently the police say that's not the case. So a Texas woman was indicted on a murder charge relating to a March incident in which she told 911 operators that she shot and killed a man she claimed kidnapped her. Well, the incident happened in Fredericksburg, and the charge was filed in Gillespie County there in Texas. So in March, law enforcement found a man dead after Miss Lejeune called 911 and said that she shot her alleged kidnapper, according to the police. Now, the Texas woman told police that she had been drugged and kidnapped according to the police affidavit. The man was later identified as 49-year-old Lance Reed from the Houston area, and according to the arrest documents, Miss Lejeune is scheduled to make her next court appearance on January 9th of 2025. Little curious as to what made the police say this wasn't just a good old-fashioned self-defense kidnapping. I guess we'll find out. Next, another teacher arrested, and I wonder for what. Well, a Missouri school teacher is being accused of exchanging drugs and alcohol for sex with students, including one who she allegedly slept with on a gravel road. Please meet Carissa Smith, a real classy dame, I must say. Well, she was arrested on Tuesday for rape, sodomy, patronizing, prostitution, sex trafficking of a child, hindering the prosecution, and sexual contact and misconduct with a student. Well, the Pulaski County Sheriff's Department said she would have sex with these students at her residence and other various locations, such as gravel roads on the side of the road. Now, apparently Smith would offer money, marijuana, and alcohol to students in return for sex or to allow her to perform oral sex on the students. One victim said that she had his first sexual interaction with Miss Smith he was a student. Well, he was a student at the Dixon Middle School. He said they met when she was substituting for another teacher and providing the boy with her Snapchat. Now, Miss Smith began sending the pictures of her breasts and buttocks along with other nude images of her in the shower. And after she propositioned the students for sex and offered him money, she allegedly told him he had to keep it a secret. Anyway, Miss Smith was arrested on 8 counts of statutory rape, 1 count of statutory sodomy, 3 counts of sexual contact with a student, 2 counts of sexual misconduct with a student, 1 count of patronizing prostitution, 2 counts of sexual trafficking of a child, and 2 counts of hindering. Well, that's a first, ladies and gentlemen. Normally, I mean, that's not a first. We've had lots of teachers. Be careful, ladies and gentlemen. But what is it with all the females? And now we've heard of grooming, buying gifts, but now their teachers are paying for sex, paying students as prostitutes to have sex with them. What the hell is going on in the world, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know, but I hope somebody figures it out soon. Next, this day in legal history, on November 15th, 1937, the FBI received its first court-ordered authorized wiretap. Obviously, a significant milestone in surveillance techniques used to combat organized crime. This set the stage, obviously, for future debates over the balance between privacy rights and law enforcement powers. Now they just rubber stamp them, whether it's a wiretap, a FISA, an administrative subpoena, rubber stamp. Nobody cares. And even if it wasn't, all big tech would hand it over to you anyway because they are required to do so. Next, on November 15th, 1969, the Zodiac Killer sent one of his cryptic letters to authorities taunting police with ciphers and details of his crime. The unsolved case remains one of America's most enduring criminal mysteries, fueling interest in criminal profiling and cold case investigations. And on November 15th, 1997, Ted Kaczynski, that's right, the Unabomber, pled guilty to charges related to a 17-year-old bombing campaign that killed 3 people and injured dozens more. His case raised questions about mental health in the justice system and the ethics of plea bargains in high-profile crimes. And then our dumb criminal of the day. A woman is now receiving treatment after she damaged a power equipment and climbed a substation transformer in Salt Lake City yesterday morning. Police are describing as a mental episode, a mental breakdown. Well, apparently the incident took place at this substation, and it led authorities to cut the power off to at least 800 homes to prevent the woman from being electrocuted. The fact that she wasn't electrocuted when she first started climbing up there is a miracle in and of itself. So maybe we should just call her our lucky criminal of the day. Now, apparently while she was up there, this woman was screaming obscenities at the police, and they tried to coax her down. Passerbys looked like she was smashing the circuit box with a pipe or something nearby as well. And she was yelling to the world that the world was no longer safe for her future, and that of her children. Anyway, they attempted to try and get her to come down. And they actually went up with a big cherry picker. The officers had to shoot the woman with a stun gun. Apparently, she yelped quite loud after she got hit. And the police said, if you don't get in the cherry picker, we're going to shoot you again. Apparently, she got in. She collapsed in the cherry picker as it went down. Now, I hope this woman gets the help that she needs. But that's dumb because she's lucky she did not get electrocuted. So she's also our lucky criminal of the day. That's all we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you have a great week and hope you have a wonderful weekend. And we'll see you next week. And remember, the Constitution matters.